All right. Well, we'll go ahead. We'll take a seat this morning. And we're going to do some strengthening because I want to cue into some of the abdominals and also how using the abdominals can also help support sometimes the elastic quality of the fascia. You know, we have collagen in the body and elastin in the body, and the elastic piece, we tend to kind of lose that piece. So it's kind of like when you see, someone doing jumping jacks or leaping or, a springiness, and you kind of have that moment in yourself where you're like, wow, could I do that springy kind of feeling? So it's kind of an interesting, it's interesting because it's going to be different for different people, certainly. But part of our practice we'll do a couple things that are really about that elastic kind of part of your fascial makeup. And again, I want to continue to work with this space that is above the breastbone. There's the sternal notch. So knowing where that is, and then above the collarbones, that's tissue above the collarbone, so you can always follow it out. It's really good to touch it because sometimes we forget how when we follow the collarbone out and it comes out to where there's a little flat plateau, and you go, well, how do I go backwards on that flat plateau? And you hit the spine of the scapula. And so right where the collarbone and the scapula, right where they meet, is soft tissue. Right below there, you'll feel soft tissue. I noticed mine is actually starting to get a little softer than it usually is. I think that's just coming from this 2 weeks of like really working with this. So feel that soft tissue corner, because we'll talk about those corners. And then also just being aware of how when you follow the spine of the scapula above it, that part of your upper back, and you go all the way to the spine, and you feel, it's like from C7, T1, T2. You might want to touch across the other side so you get a sense of what the quality of that space is. Can you find on the opposite side, can you follow your collarbone out? Can you find the place where the collarbone and the spine of your scapula meet? And there's a bony plateau way out, but there's a soft tissue place where those two places kind of come together. You want to get right into that little corner with your fingers so you can be present there, okay? And then you notice you walk back around this side and you come around back to the sternal notch. And let's also imagine that from the sides of the neck, so we have, this is your throat center all this way around, yeah? So the throat, and we do the Ujjayi breathing, we imagine it here at the top of the breastbone. But can we also imagine that there's like a line that goes from the sides of the neck to divide this, if we were going to divide from the side of the neck down to the top of the collarbone, and from the side of the neck back towards that space that was above the scapula and back to the spine. So if we had an imaginary line that came across, dividing this into the front half and the back half. Cool. All right. And let's go ahead and begin our practice. Let's go ahead and take a comfortable seat. Allow your attention to drop inside. to feel the support beneath you, to lengthen your spine up towards the sky, resting your hands wherever they're comfortable. And you might take a moment just to place your awareness from the top of the breastbone, that sternal notch. We could call that like the throat center. And then if you go to that imaginary line that we were just talking about, that divides the front half and the back half of that soft tissue between the collarbone and the spine of your scapula. And then bringing the breath in through the nose and back out through the nose. Just taking a couple breaths like that. They are just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then when you feel ready, drop your attention into the sternal notch, into that place right above your breastbone. And begin to your ujjayi, imagining that the breath is coming in through that spot. And also the exhale, can you imagine it coming back out through that spot? So even though the breath is still coming in and out through the nose, your felt sense awareness can drop into that space above the breastbone and imagine the breath coming in and out there. So this is your ujjayi. And can you balance the inhale and the exhale? Can you make them as close as is comfortably possible? And while you're working with your breath there, I'm going to read just a little bit of Rumi to you. Wake up with the morning breeze and ask for a change. Open and fill yourself with the wine that is your life. Pass it around. Pass it to me first. Revive me with your waking. Listen to the harp sound and sing. Dawn music is your joy. Give me your excitement, but let it ground me so I don't wander. Watch the ripples on the surface, then launch me like a ship. Journeys bring power and love back into you. If you can't go somewhere, move in the passageways of the self. They are like shafts of light, always changing, and you change when you explore them. And at the bottom of your next exhale, go ahead and release any control on the breath. Join your hands together in Anjali Mudra. And this morning, let's sing Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu. In that spirit of Saha, together may we be protected, together may we be nourished. May our practice have great energy, and may it illuminate any darkness. May we not dispel or hate one another. Taking a deep inhale. Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Savidyam Karavavai Tejasvinavarim Tamastu Ma Vidyashavai Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And then with your exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands and lift your gaze. All right, so let's go ahead and let's take, come out of our seat, and we'll take one of your blankets just to open it up to cushion the floor. So open it up big enough to support your torso. And then we're going to come down onto your back with your knees bent, your feet on the ground. When you lie back, if the forehead is going to be higher than the chin, then put a little something under the back of the head so that the forehead and the chin are closer to being level. So that if you feel like the chin is higher than the forehead, add a little something under the head. All right. So we've been doing a lot of work with our awareness about the abdominals and our connection to the ground and our connection through the body. Hi, Diego. All right, so we're gonna start by taking a deep inhale. And then with the next exhale, let's just lift the heels. And as you lift the heels, can you find more connection with the ground through the mid back and lower back? And then with your next exhale, relax the shoulders. They don't have to be coming on board. Diego's having a bit of something. Now, when you're here, when you've got this deep transversus engaged, your breath has got to be in the rib cage, not the belly. And then let's exhale and release the heels. Sorry, Diego. Diego thinks it's time to have some fun. So just take a deep inhale here without any holding. Stop, Diego. No, sweetie. No, we're not playing right now. We're doing abdominal work. Okay, so one more inhale. And always, if you have a question, you are welcome to just, hit the space bar and ask a question. Sorry about Diego. All right, here we go. We're going to take a deep inhale. And then with the exhale, lift the heels. Now pick up the feet. And feeling that connection to the ground. Let's exhale and toe tap right. Then the left. Keeping steady through your connection to the floor. So the leg is moving, the pelvis is not. In fact, the pelvis is very still and quiet. All right, let's bring both toes down and the heels. Now, oftentimes, the neck likes to try to help out, but it's not helping. But here's what we'll do to just support it. We're going to go ahead and take the arms, put them behind the head, the elbows toward each other. So now I've got my hands behind my head, my elbows toward each other. I'm going to take a deep inhale. And then with the next exhale, pick up the heels and just lift the head. Not that I'm looking towards, my belly. I'm resting my head in my hands. I might take my chin a little more towards my throat. Then I'm going to take the toes from the ground and I want to check, the lower front rib cage, is it up towards the sky? If so, slide it more down towards your belly button, towards your pelvis. And then you might take the shins parallel with the ground. And with the next exhale, you will go back to toe tapping. You're only taking the toe and the knee as far away from the body as you can keep the pelvis completely stable. I still breathe right now in and out through my nose, but you don't have to breathe like that. The breath is not super deep. And again, I want to make sure my pelvis is stable, my lower front ribs are down. And then I'm going to lower my head back down, my toes, my heels, and release my hands. And just inhale, take the arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, reach them overhead, palms toward the sky. And inhale them back to the ceiling. And exhale, lower them down by your side. And just taking a regular breath. All right. So now I'm going to press into my left foot, take the right leg straight up, reach out the whole ball of my right foot. And with the next exhale, lower the right leg to be even with the left thigh. Inhale while you're there. And again, the inhale is in the rib cage. The exhale, can you lower the right leg any farther without losing your connection to the floor at the back body? And then we'll inhale, we can bring knee to chest. Exhale, leg to the sky. Your next exhale, lowering the leg part way. Inhale while you're there, lowering the leg another distance without changing the shape of the back body. Inhale, bring the knee to the chest. Exhale to the ceiling. And again. This time we'll exhale, bring the knee to the chest. Inhale to the sky. Again, one more time, right side. Exhale, we move the leg. The next exhale, you move the leg. And the exhale, knee to chest. And then we're going to bring right foot to the ground and release again. Just relaxing. And even noticing how maybe the breath feels different on the right side of the body compared to the left. All right, you ready for the second side? So we'll take left leg up to the sky. I like to press into my right foot to help me engage. And it actually reminds me to slide those front ribs down. And then the exhale, left leg lowers part way. The exhale, left leg lowers part way. The inhale, I stay. The exhale, left knee to the chest. The inhale, back up. And again. The exhale, the knee to the chest. The inhale, back up, pressing into the right foot. The exhale, I move the leg. The next exhale, I move it again. And the exhale, knee to chest. Okay, here we go again. Left leg up. The exhale, left thigh even with the right. Left leg lowers maybe another distance, or maybe it stays there. And the exhale, we come back in and we do one more. There goes the left leg, press into the right foot, relax the neck and shoulders. And exhale, press into the right foot, lower the left leg, inhale while you're there. Your exhale, you'll lower some distance. You'll inhale there. And the next exhale, we bring the knee up. And then we're going to just bring both feet to the floor and rest again. Resting there, relaxing there. Okay. And then can you take the hands behind the head? Elbows toward each other. Inhaling. And with the exhale, lift your chest. Lift your shoulder blades from the ground. Can you lift all the way up so that you feel the lower tip of the shoulder blades might even be off the ground? And slowly bringing the shoulder blades back down. And the exhale, picking them up. So on the exhale, I'm going to lift my shoulder blades from the floor. The inhale, I'm lowering them back down. I'm just supporting my head. I'm not taking my chin all the way to my throat. I'm just letting my head be supported by my hands.
feeling that even as I take my shoulder blades and peel them away from the ground, my lower front ribs are sliding back down towards my pelvis. Last one. And slowly I go back and I release my head and rest my arms again, just along my body, wherever is comfortable, and just taking a breath in. Okay. And then we're going to take knees, come up, the hands are still on the ground. And then the legs go to the sky. Now, I might take my hands, kind of like a little, making a triangle between the thumbs and the index finger, and put those just under my sacrum. And then just seeing if with the next exhale, can you lift the pelvis from the ground? So you're not trying not to use a lot of momentum, but with the exhale, can I pick up pubic bone towards the navel and let it back down? So I go up, down, up, down, up, down. I'm trying not to use the swinging to do the next one. All right, and then I'll bend my knees, bring my feet down, inhale, take my arms overhead, halfway. Exhale all the way over with my arms. Inhale them back towards the sky. Exhale them down. And now I'm going to roll over to one side and use my arms to push myself up. All right, so now we come over to being, we could be on all fours. Okay, and you can still have your blanket knees under the blanket. You can have your hands, you can have, whatever works for you to be here right now. All right, and then can we take, and at this moment, so if I take my right leg back and tuck my toes under, I'm going to crawl forward a little, and my left, then I'm in plank. And for this next part, when I'm in plank, I'm going to exhale and see if I can lift as my pubic bone towards my belly button. My knees come closer to the ground, they hover, and I go back to plank. So the exhale, I'm bending the knees and lifting my low back up to the sky. Plank. Can you do like 5 or 6 of these? Lift the low back towards the ceiling. And my knees are just barely kissing my blanket. Those to me are the hardest of them all. And then the next one, I'm going to bring my knees down and just walk back and take child's pose for a moment. And then I'm going to come forward again to all fours to tabletop. And then we're going here to bird dog. So right arm forward, left leg back. Palm can be towards the floor. And I'm looking for that inseam of my body, that deep front line. To be steady. And then exhale, right arm, left knee. Inhale in the middle. Exhale, cat. And inhale, cow. Lifting above those collarbones. Exhale, cat. Inhale, all fours. And the exhale, right leg, left arm. And then I'll lower the right knee, left hand, child's pose. And then I'll walk my hands back. So now I'm just sitting on my heels. Straighten my blanket out a little bit, okay? So if it's comfortable sitting like this, you could sit like this. If this is really uncomfortable on the knees, being in this position, you could maybe try sitting up a little higher on a block. You could go back to any of the previous ones we just did if you want to. Now, in this one though, what we're doing is when you lift your pubic bone towards your navel, towards your lower ribs, you're gonna feel a little, there's like a little release that it brings you up. It brings you up to kneeling. So, for example, I'm just here inhaling. And as I exhale, I'm going to lift pubic bone towards navel. It just brings me up to my knees. And then I'll come lift up a little bit through the top of the collarbones. And exhale, I'm going to come all the way back down. And I'm going to go pubic bone to lower ribs. And it just bounces me back up. And then I'll take the arms wide. And I'll lower down, and then right as I get there, I'm gonna lift up my pubic bone to my navel, and I feel myself spring up. Give it a try. The exhale, I'm gonna start to lower myself back down. My sit bones start to reach my heels, and I pull my pubic bone up to my lower ribs, and I feel a springiness that brings me up. Exhaling down. Up. Up, pubic bone towards the lower ribs. And that pubic bone to lower ribs you've been doing, and this morning we did a lot of it. So you're still working with that, and there's a lot of strength, but there's also a whole springiness that's happening. Okay, and one more. And then this time, as we come back, if you're comfortable taking Navasana, we'll put a block or two there, and we'll just take a moment to sit back. And I might want, a blanket or a block or something, a second one behind me, just for a simple twist. And so in this simple twist, I'm going to take my left hand behind, my right hand across to the outside of my left knee, just twisting and lifting from just above the left collarbone. And then we'll exhale, come back to center. I might take my second block with me to go to the other side. So it's going to be right hand behind, left hand across. So just a simple twist to the right, lifting right above the right collarbone as it's close to the midline. And then I'm going to exhale and come back. All right. And then, what else, Lynn? Okay, I'm gonna take, I'm gonna come off of my blanket. Just put it off to the side. So here I'm gonna come into, and you're welcome to watch, I'm gonna come back to plank. Now you can take any version you want. So you could just be in plank, you might just hold plank. You might be going, okay, can I take my knee to my elbow? Hands on blocks could be nice. Let's do. So if I take my blocks, because that'll give you a little more height under my hands, and I've got my blocks at the lowest setting. And then if I go back to my plank, so what I was saying is you could go knee to elbow, and you could switch, and some of you might enjoy going knee to opposite elbow, and some of you might like to speed it all up. So you pick. And then you'll come into downward facing dog when you're ready. And then we'll step forward, Uttanasana, forward fold. Releasing the neck. And then let's take hands to the hips and inhale, come on up to standing. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Drop the hands down alongside. And turn the palms forward. Let's inhale, lift both arms up. And exhale, hands back in front of the heart. And release your arms. So in Tadasana, when we just have our arms just dangling by your side, you can drop your attention again into that space between top of the collarbones and above the spine of the scapula, just noticing. And then taking the arms straight out to the sides with the palms toward the floor. So again, you can notice, what is that space like? Remember the imaginary line that's coming across. You might even notice a difference in where you feel the space from the neck to the top of the that plateau. How is it different from left to right? And then when you roll the palms forward towards the front there, feel how you can take that front space from above the collarbone up, and it kind of rolls up, like there's more that lifts up. That back space can drop back and down. Release those upper traps and all that area, relax them back and down. And then if you turn the palms to the sky, once again, relaxing through the back, that back lid we were talking about. And now can we inhale, take the arms straight up. And if you remember where that little corner was that you palpated at the beginning, can you send those corners to the hands? All the way up to the hands. When you do you feel the arms get closer together? And then we'll bring hands into Anjali Mudra. Release your arms. So remembering where is that little corner again? You know, where is that place where the collarbone and the scapula meet? Where is it? Because that's the part at that moment we were just sending into the hands. So let's set up for side angle. And we'll go right foot out and left foot in.
One day we're going to be together again. It's going to be a great day, isn't it? It's going to happen. One day we'll be in person. Woo! Alrighty. Side ankle. We're going to your right. So let's inhale the arms out. And then we'll exhale, side ankle pose. And if you remember, in your side angle, so if you go on the left side, remember where, find the collarbone, especially the middle half, that's closer to the center of the body. And then, can you roll that space that's right above the collarbone up towards the throat? And what happened when you did that? Did you feel the whole thoracic spine turn towards the sky? And then we're going to inhale, come back up. Exhale, release the arms. And let's move the feet to take the second side. So that space that I'm talking about is going to be now on your right. And if you go, it's going to be from the top, not the collarbone itself, but above it, that middle third or half. Let's inhale the arms out. And exhale, second side, Parshvakonasana, side angle. We're still, reaching from the crest of the pelvis to the back foot. And then rolling from above the right collarbone all the way up towards your throat. Yeah. Good. Let's see. Good. And Allison, take a longer stance. Take the back leg back a little more. Yeah. There you go. That's it. Ingrid, really reaching that arm. Good. And Noreen, we have the front knee bent. Front knee is bent in side angle. Yeah. And you could take a longer stance too, Noreen. You could take your back foot back farther. It's going to make the block closer, the ground closer. Lynn, this looks great. I love the balance in your hip joint. Great. Excellent. All right, let's inhale and come back up. And beautiful. And we'll relax the arms. We'll make the feet parallel. And we'll take the hands up on the hips. We're going to take a wide-legged forward fold. So you've got the hands up on your hips. Your feet are parallel. If you know you need blocks, you can bring them out in front of you. We're going to first, before we bow, we're going to keep this lifted, right? We're going to lift that space right above the collarbones. Now, the arms, we're not lifting all the way to the edge because the arms, when they're on our hips right now, they're in internal rotation. But right in the midline, we're lifting that up. And the exhale, we're bowing forward. Our hands come down to the floor. And then let's walk the hands forward for downward dog arms. And then from those corners, those little corners between the collarbone and the spine of the scapula, reach those corners all the way toward your hands. And take the throat center away from the hands. Take the throat center towards the rib cage, but the corners that we talked about are going toward the hands. Ujjayi is useful. And then we're going to walk the hands back. And we'll hop the feet together. Shift the hands to the hips. And inhale, come up. Exhale, hands onto the mudra. Relax the arms. Take your left hand arm behind you to grab onto your right elbow, forearm area. And now you're going to take your right ear and like it's vaulting over towards your right shoulder. So or not the right ear, sorry. It's your left ear. No, it's your right ear. Oh, good. I'm trying to be your mirror. And so the arm, where the elbow's bent, that arm's in internal rotation. I'm releasing that upper, it'd be your upper left inner corner forward and down. Even as I take your right ear towards the right shoulder. And then, if it's okay, let's turn the chin a little bit up take the chin up a little to stretch the scalenes between the jaw and the collarbone or first rib. And then we're going to come back up to center, release the arms, you can shake them out. And then take the second side. So now it's your right hand goes behind and grabs onto your arm. With the exhale, taking the left ear up and over. Releasing that right inner corner. Let that arm be an internal rotation. And then you might take the chin and turn it a little towards your right to stretch that scalenes. You might feel a stretch between the jaw and the collarbone on that side. All right, and then we'll release that, bring it back to center. Can we take a strap for a moment and make a loop in the strap? Make the loop, larger than the width of your upper arm. So make the loop pretty big. That loop's gonna go behind you. So you'll have your wrists in the loop, the palms facing each other. And now, as you allow those upper inner corners to come forward, you're going to feel the arms are able to reach behind you, away from your body more. As you release those forward upper inner corners forward, the arms go back. And then with the arms, they're in internal rotation, lift right above the collarbones. Towards the midline, lift. So you keep that up, those inner corners coming forward at the shoulders themselves, but right above those two collarbones, you start to lift up towards the throat. You do these at the same time, and then we'll release. And take the strap away. Great. Let's take the strap, and I can make my loop smaller. And let's just take Gomukhasana arms. So you're going to take the strap in your right hand, bring it behind. The other hand is in internal rotation, grabs onto the strap, and then you can climb it up wherever is comfortable. So on the bottom arm, the left one, your bottom arm, let that upper inner corner come again, forward and down. And then on the elbow that's lifted, take that upper inner corner and lift it up towards the elbow. So you can be in a little side bend here, where the right side of the spine is long, the left side might be a little shorter. So on the down arm, that one's coming in and down. And on the up elbow, you're lengthening it up. And then we'll release. Second side. Strap in the left. Bring it around. Take the other hand. Hand is facing towards the wall behind you. And then again, on the down arm, allow that upper inner corner, so that arm is in internal rotation. Let it be an internal rotation. And then on the other arm, on the up arm, really reach up towards the elbow. You'll even feel like the heart center is probably a little bit right of midline because there's a little side bend in the spine. And then we're going to release the bottom arm and bring the top one around. Okay. And then we'll put our strap aside. Let's bring your blocks to the top of your mat. So you've got them. All right. And we're going to go through a sun salutation. Hands together in front of the heart. And let's release the hands. Inhale, take them straight out to the sides, palms toward the ground. Exhale, roll the palms forward, feel above the collarbones, roll that up. Palms skyward, again, above those collarbones, rolling up, and then take the arms up. Exhale, hands come down in front of the heart. We're going to Uttanasana. Inhale, we go halfway. So in this Ardha Uttanasana, when we're halfway, as you might have hands on blocks, can you roll right above the collarbones up towards the throat? And then we're going to exhale to downward facing dog. So here, those inner corners reach to the hands. The throat center back towards the rib cage. Remember that steadiness on the midline. And inhale, steady to plank pose. Balancing the weight in the hands. Same side, the same weight in both hands. Exhale, bend the knees. Remember that strength in the belly. The knees touch down. Exhale, take the elbows straight back, bring your chest down. Palms are along the side ribs. The shoulders are in internal rotation. And you're going to lift from right above those collarbones. Inhale, cobra. Pull the hands back isometrically. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all fours. Push the ground away. Exhale, there's plank and downward facing dog. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, releasing forward in Uttanasana, letting the front come down towards the heart center. Let's inhale halfway, lifting the front up. Maybe the gaze is up,
Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise all the way up. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Inhale, lift both arms. Sending those upper inner corners all the way to the hands. Exhale, Uttanasana. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, right foot back. Inhale, upright. So there's a spot when you come, inhale, upright. We could have the arms out, kind of out to the sides like a 45. Palms can be facing forward. Can you lift right above the collarbones? And then you might take the arms up, you might leave them back wide. Then we'll inhale the arms out if they're up, and exhale, we bow forward all the way to plank. Inhale in your plank pose. Exhale, you can either bring the knees down or just the chest down. Inhale, cobra. Lifting. Exhale, lower. Inhale, all fours. Exhale, plank and Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Are you sending those upper corners all the way to the hands in your downward dog? Is the throat center balanced from front to back? So where is the throat center? And are you reaching it towards your rib cage? And then when you're ready, let's inhale, lift the other leg up. And exhale, step it forward. So you're on the second side. Yeah. So finding that connection, the weight balanced in the hips. And then when you're ready, begin to lift. Good. And take the arms kind of at a 45 for a moment. Palms facing forward. And there you go. And then lifting right above the upper inner midline of those collarbones. Lift those up. Keep going, Lise. You got it. Keep going. You might even like the hands to be a little behind you, Lise. Take the hands. Yeah. Now feel, Lise, with the palms rolling forward. Even more, thumbs towards the sky, even a little. Yeah, like that. Do you feel you get a little better, easier to lift right there? And then if we want, we can take the arms skyward. And they're calling, take it up, reach it all those ways. Reach those corners all the way up. That's it. Great. That's it, Sandra. Really sending it all the way to the hands. Good, Ingrid. A little more on the left side. Reach. Yeah. And then we can inhale the arms out. Exhale, bow. Beautiful. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold forward. So here you are in Uttanasana. Release the throat center. Release towards the heart. Let that back part from the base of the neck all the way along the spine of the scapula come forward, as if it comes forward and rolls over the front. And then with the next inhale, you go halfway up. You go Ardha Uttanasana. You lift above those collarbones. Even the gaze might go a little forward. And then the exhale, you bow. And then the inhale, you rise all the way up. And the exhale, hands back down in front of your heart.
And then release your arms. All right, let's come down to the ground. Let's come down to the ground and let's give you a couple options here. One option that might be Navasana like this. Some of you might be here holding at the backs of the legs, right? Some of you might be here. Or some of you might want to try, I can't remember the name of the pose, but basically it's going to be either you can reach the big toes and you take the legs up here, or you can use a strap to go around the feet and hold on to the strap. So take one of these versions. Navasana with the knees bent, hands behind the thighs. Navasana with, the arms could be just straight out. Or this pose with either holding the big toes or having a strap around the feet and holding the strap. Now, whichever I've chosen, I'm going to give a little lift above that upper towards midline collarbone. And then we'll bend the knees and we're going to come just briefly to Uttanasana. Let's take the hands behind. So we'll even point the fingers back behind us. And we're going to lift through the top of the breastbone, above those collarbones. And the exhale, we're going back either to Navasana, 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 whichever. Or you might have this version, I forget the name of it. And then we'll go back to Baddha, hands behind, lifting above the collarbones. And then we'll bring the knees together and take the legs out. Okay, just a couple more things. So let's say we're going to do a version of shoulder stand with no props. Okay, so no props, so we won't be as vertical. And the reason I'm choosing this is based also on the abdominal work that we're using here. We've been working with the abdominals. So in this case, if I want to do this pose, and I'll give you another option if you don't, I'm going to just be bringing knees to the chest, legs up, and then I'm going to lift my pelvis and take my hands at the back of my pelvis, and I'm going to stay in this kind of 45 shape. I'm not trying to take my legs to be vertical. The weight is on the back of my head and my upper back. So some of you will be here. The gaze is going to be towards the belly. Some of you, if you're not doing that inversion, you could take a blanket, fold it in half lengthwise. Another blanket, fold it in half lengthwise to match that one. You'll want a block. And you'll lie down. Take your block under your blanket, and that'll go under the back of the head to bring the chin more towards the throat. So those are a couple options. A modified shoulder stand or a reclined version of shoulder stand. Just for a few moments. Yeah, that's it, Allison. Yeah, and if we're in whichever pose we have chosen, turn the gaze to be like it's going through the cheekbones, whichever version you've chosen. All righty. And then if you've got the legs up, you'll go ahead and lower them down. If you're in the reclined version, you can bend the knees, roll to one side. We'll move one of those blankets out of the way. All right. And then let's take just a little twist here. We'll take, based on time, let's take Marichyasana 3, but let's use a strap. I think we did this yesterday. So you can sit on the floor, sit on a blanket. You're gonna want just your strap that might have a little loop in it. And then let's take the right leg straight. So you'll put the strap around the right foot, and then you're going to bring the tail along that right side to be behind you. So the left hand's going to reach around to grab your strap. You'll bend the opposite knee. So right leg is straight, left knee is bent. And you can just take the hand to the outer left knee, and you're twisting. So the arm, the left arm is in internal rotation, the one that's holding the strap. But can you lift just right above the left inner collarbone? Let the left arm, the one holding the strap, be in that internal rotation, but lift right above the collarbone as it's close to midline. And then we'll release. And we'll take the other side. Strap over the foot. The strap comes along that straight leg side, and then your right arm reaches around to grab it. You'll bend your right knee and take your left hand to the outer knee, and you're twisting towards your bent knee. Allowing the arm on that side to stay in, that shoulder is in internal rotation. So I'm not pulling your right shoulder back. You're not letting the turn come from that. You might see what happens when you lift right above the collarbone as it's close to midline. And then we'll exhale and come back to center. Oh, great. Time goes so fast. We do all that abdominal work. It takes time. But you might have some of the abdominal stuff that you kind of like. Does anybody like abdominal work? I don't know. But it does help us. All right, so we're going to come down to Shavasana. You might like taking one blanket lengthwise, fold it in half lengthwise on your mat, and a second blanket to go underneath your head, a blanket to cover up with, and then we'll just take the legs out on the ground and come into resting. I have my palms, my arms are just, lying along my side, not glued to my side, a little bit away. I do have my palms rolled up towards the sky. And make yourself warm and comfortable, covering yourself up. Wake up with the morning breeze and ask for a change. Open and fill yourself with the wine that is your life. Pass it around. Pass it to me first. Revive me with your waking. Listen to the harp sound and sing. Dawn music is your joy. Give me your excitement, but let it ground me so I don't wonder. Watch the ripples on the surface, then launch me like a ship. Journeys bring power and love back into you. If you can't go somewhere, move in the passageways of the self. They are like shafts of light, always changing, and you change when you explore them. And then allow your breath to deepen. And make a mindful transition over to one side. Use the support of your arms as you come back up to sitting. And just taking a moment as you come back to sitting with the eyes closed, just to notice like the quality of the mind, like the ripples on the water being still, and then the droplet of more water being added, or a small stone. And joining your hands together in front of your heart, just honoring these passages of light within us, all that growth and potential. And we never stop. May we never stop learning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your practice. I'll go ahead and I'll stop the recording. And then if you have a question about anything, I'm sorry we didn't have time for pranayama. It all goes so quick.